Hello everyone, welcome back to online social science class. We were doing geography chapter 3, mineral and power resources. We have already completed mineral resources, and under the power resources I have told you about conventional sources of energy in detail, right? So now we will move to non-conventional sources of energy. Before that, let us revise the definition. What are non-conventional sources? As if you remember, I have told you the conventional sources are non-renewable. Soon they will be exhausted. They are limited. Okay, so we need to have a substitute. We need to have a source of energy which is renewable, which will not exhaust. Okay, so these resources which are newly introduced and which are renewable, which will not exhaust, are known as non-conventional sources of energy. Okay, so under this we will study about solar energy, wind energy, tidal energy, biogas. Okay, these are the examples of non-conventional sources of energy. We will start with the solar energy. As the name suggests, solar, it is taken from the word sun. So the sun, as you know, sun is having abundance of power. We humans are not having the power to extract, to use that, utilize the solar power. So we have started working on that, and now we are having a technology to trap the solar energy. Now solar energy is trapped from the sun and it is used in the solar cells to produce electricity. Okay, so this high technology is used especially in the areas, the tropical countries who are having abundance of solar energy, where the temperature is very high. So these countries are utilizing the technology. Okay, not only for electricity, it is used in solar heaters, solar cookers and solar dryers. There are different uses of solar energy. People are working on this. So we have got one substitute which is in abundance, which will not end. Okay, so this is one of the non-conventional source of energy. Here you can see I have shown a picture of solar panels. These are used to trap solar energy. In this, solar cells are installed and we can trap solar energy with the help of this installation. Though it is costly, but it is a substitute at least apart from the non-renewable sources. Now we will come to the next one, that is wind energy. As the name says, now we are going to use another natural resource, wind. Wind is again natural, free of cost, available in abundance. So wind energy is also used. It is used from long back, like people were using it for grinding grain or lifting water. It was used. But now in the modern time, we are having, with high technology, with the advancement in technology, we are having windmills who are working in very high speed. They are rotating the mill, which is used to produce electricity. Okay, it is especially in the areas like coastal areas, near the mountain areas where the heavy winds are there. These areas are used to have wind farms. Now what is wind farm? Wind farm is the area where many windmills can be installed. An open area where wind is available in abundance. Wind farms are located. Okay, the major areas with the wind farms are Netherlands, Germany, Denmark, USA, UK and Spain. Okay, so these are the areas who are producing wind energy in abundance. We can come to the next topic, that is nuclear power. Nuclear power is obtained when the nuclei of the atoms, okay, the atoms of thorium and uranium, the atoms of these minerals are, the nuclear fission takes place and the energy is produced. Okay, so this provides us power. After the fission of these the fission in between the atoms, what happened? The energy is emitted, the power is emitted, power is released. The major area countries which are producing nuclear power is USA, Europe, and in India also we are having in Rajasthan and Jharkhand. They are having uranium and thorium in very large quantities. So the nuclear power stations are located in India also, in Tamil Nadu, in Maharashtra, in Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh. Different areas are there with the nuclear power plants. It is another very important source. I can show you the diagram here. Here you can see the first from left side you start seeing heat. Heat is produced due to fission. Okay, this is a nuclear reactor. You can see in this reaction takes place, fission takes place, the hot water is moving, and this movement, then what it produces power. So the turbine is installed. You can see it leads to movement in the turbine. The turbine moves because of the pressure of the heat, and then the generator is used to produce electricity. So in this way the nuclear power plant works. The next one is geothermal energy. First again let us go with the word, which we should clear with the concept. No, why geothermal? The word geo is for the geography, for the land, for the earth, and the word thermal is heat. Geothermal, the heat produced by the earth is called geothermal energy. As you know, you have studied in the previous classes, when we go deep inside the earth, the temperature increases, right? So it's very deep, it's very the temperature is very high, so the heat is produced, and that heat is used to get energy. Okay, sometimes it comes out in the form of hot springs also. So the heat inside the earth is also used to generate power. So what we are seeing, the natural things, sun, wind, and heat of the land, all these things we are utilizing for producing power and energy. USA is the world's largest, they are having largest geothermal power plants, and after USA there are different countries after USA who are producing geothermal energy. Now you can see the diagram here. The natural land only, as I have told you, it is produced from the land. The heat is extracted. The machines are installed. It's very deep. It is installed because as we are going deep, the heat is there. The temperature is increasing, right? So the turbine is used to produce power with the help of the heat. Sometimes it is coming with a stream. You can see here stream is also shown. So what is coming out? The heat is coming out in the form of steam. So this is how the geothermal energy is produced. Now we'll come to the tidal energy. Again, another natural movement of water, tidal. Water is very powerful. Very powerful. When it moves with power, it generates power when the water moves with speed. So the phenomena of tides is it goes up and down, right? Due to the gravitational force, there is a movement in water. When gravitational force is more, there is high tide, the water is going upside. When gravitational force is less, there is low tide. Okay, so this phenomena is also used to produce electricity. The electricity is harnessed with the help of movement of tides. Now how it is done, I will show you with the help of diagram. First let me tell you, Russia, France and the Gulf of Kutch, it is in Gujarat in India, they are having huge tidal farms. So the turbines are installed to produce electricity. This is in a theoretical way I have told you. Now let us go with the diagram. Here you can see some setup is made, and the left side we will start high tide. When there is high tide, the water is moving upside with high speed. What is happening? They have made the holes, automatically water is coming this side. Automatically water is going to right side, and in between generator and turbine is installed. So due to the movement of water, it rotates and it produces power. Then it goes to low tide. What they are doing after high tide, these holes are closed. Now already water is to the right side. Water is now to the right side. When there is low tide, the water will flow back. The water will flow back to the left side. So again there is a turbine and generator. In both you can see turbine and generator are there. Either water is going right side or water is going left side. In both the ways, the turbine and generator will move with speed and it will produce power or electricity. So this is the way how tidal energy is used to produce electricity. Now the last one is biogas. Biogas. Okay, so biogas is made with the dead remains of dead plants and animals. When these wet remains are there of dead plants and animals, this organic waste, what is happening? Decomposition. They are converted after a long time. When they are decomposed, they produce a gaseous fuel. Okay, the decomposition of the waste of plants and animals, it produces a gaseous fuel which is known as biogas. Okay, as the bacteria attacks, you have seen the formation of curd, how it takes place. Similarly, when there is a dead remains of plants and animals, with time it is decomposed, the bacteria is attacking on that and a fuel is produced. Okay, it emits biogas. And this gas is actually methane and carbon dioxide. So it is a very excellent fuel, and the very positive thing about this is it is less polluting. So it produces lot of energy, and whatever waste is released at the end, it is used as a manure. Every year we can get as a manure also we are getting, and a gaseous fuel also is produced. So these are the advantages of biogas. Now what we will do, we will have a quick look. Here you can see biogas plant is shown. Slurry, the waste is collected in the air, and in the gas tank the gas is released, and at the end what is left, the waste is used as a fertilizer. So this is a biogas plant. Now we will have the conclusion of all the non-conventional sources of energy. I have started with all the positive points, that it is a substitute, it is renewable, it is inexhaustible. So many advantages I have told you. Okay, it is in abundance, but there are advantages as well as disadvantages of each. We will start with wind energy. Wind energy, it will pollute it. The fresh natural wind is there, so it is non-polluting, it is low cost, and it is very safe and clean. But it leads to noise pollution, and it leads, sometimes it's very costly to arrange for the windmills. It is costly, and it is affecting the radio and TV reception. And as it is moving, the movement, the turbine and the windmill, you have seen the structure, no? So it is harmful for the birds. We can see the advantages and disadvantages of solar energy. Advantages all are knowing, it is in abundance. Then it is inexhaustible. As it is in abundance, it will never end. It is non-polluting. The next thing is it is very expensive. Solar panels and all, it is expensive, and sometimes diffuse source, so gets wasted. Diffuse means the solar energy is sun is releasing the energy all time, but we are not making use of that. So what is happening? It is getting wasted. Tidal energy is again non-polluting and inexhaustible. Mostly all these non-conventional sources are inexhaustible. Okay, and the tidal energy, it destroys the wildlife and other living animals also, and it's very difficult to harness. It's not easy to have these tidal power plants and get the energy. Then nuclear energy, we have seen, it gives lot of energy. Then it produces waste which is harmful, and it is expensive. Biogas is it's very easily operated, easily available. It is of low cost, but it can lead to greenhouse effect. It can sometimes increase the temperature of the area and lead to greenhouse effect. Geothermal energy, very clean and eco-friendly, because the land is producing heat and we are utilizing the same heat. But the disadvantages are they are located far away from cities, and so it becomes very costly. Becomes costly to get the energy through geothermal power plants. So we have seen advantages and disadvantages of non-conventional sources of energy. We can come to the end of the chapter. We can conclude with what we have studied about different minerals, power sources. What we got, that energy is available everywhere. We can see energy, but the thing is, it is not easy to use the energy. It is not easy to take out the energy and use it. It's very difficult, as well as it is very costly. So we can understand the value of this mineral and power resources, and the way population is increasing, the way we are exploiting it, it will end, it will exhaust it. So what we have to do as a responsible citizen, as a part of this earth, we need to save earth, we need to save energy, because saved energy is energy generated. Okay, energy saved is energy generated. So each one of us can make a difference. We can save energy at home also, we can do. So we can save energy and we can save life. So we end the chapter. Go through it, prepare notes and study well. Thank you.